Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magical Journey Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Ian Cahoon, and tonight we have two guests who I'm really excited about talking to about some paranormal investigation. But before we get started with that, let me get you guys to do me a favor. Head over, not now, but after the show, to magicaljourneypodcast.com and check out all things Magical Journey, including magical merch. And my hat's on a little wonky tonight, but you know what? I'm feeling a little wonky. It's Friday and it is what it is, okay? Cut me a break. It's fashion. All right, so with that, don't forget to check out the magical merch because that is the sponsor of this show. And also remember to check out Koi-Fi, which I think this weekend is going to get some updates. I'm working on updating a lot of things this weekend. You guys will find it easier to get some of the episodes in your search engine soon, because I'm going back and retagging and doing a lot of hashtags and so forth in all the episodes. So with that said, tonight first of all, it is spooky season, and I was like, okay, so how am I going to start off spooky season? Well, the obvious answer to that is to start talking about the paranormal first thing. So tonight I'm bringing Regina and Jesse from PPF Investigation, Pursuing Paranormal Facts, to talk to us about their work with...
Sorry.
No, you're okay. I just didn't want to bring you up and like when you were like
run away from the screen.
Right. So guys, for those who are just joining us and maybe don't know who you are, can you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Jesse, you want to go?
No, you first.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Regina. I am the co-founder and lead investigator on PPF Investigations, which again stands for Pursuing Paranormal Facts. I have been a paranormal investigator for almost 14 years next month. I have also been a paranormal tour guide for a local haunting here for about 7 years, and we've been in magazines, we've been on TV shows, I'm trying to produce my own paranormal TV show, so we're kind of got our hands in a little bit of everything.
And I'm Jessie. I'm one of her team members. And I think I've been working with you 10 years?
At least,
I don't know. Time flies. But yeah, been on the team for over a decade now, so trying to find some ghosts.
Jesse's also the one of this. We're a small team. We only have 3 investigators right now. We've had up to 5 or 6 at different points throughout having the team, but Jessie is our skeptic. She is a very logical thinker and tries to go in and debunk everything, but she's seen and heard some stuff that she can't debunk. So
definitely there have been some interesting things. I'm like, okay, this one's interesting. Heard some voices that I couldn't explain, like my own ears. Only a couple of times I felt actual fear, but it only lasted like 1 minute. Like it was very quick, but it was intense fear. And I'm like, I don't know where that came from. So there have been several things that have happened that I couldn't explain.
And that's really important to have that questioning. The more I get involved with things, the more I find there's a hint of doubt from time to time. Although, so Regina, you were there for the first night of in when we were all in Kentucky. That second night, when we were down in that area that had all the, um, pictures and the uniforms and all that,
Mhm.
there was a strong smell of men's cologne, and neither one of us were wearing cologne, and we both caught it at the same time, and I turned and I looked at Austin, and I said, "Smell that?" And he looked at me like, "Oh, crap." And so there was a definite it was a I couldn't tell you which cologne it was, but it was a very, I guess,
Like musky.
kind of maybe, smell, and it was like there was no way to deny that that was there, and there was also old man smell in a couple of places.
Yeah,
Mm.
that was at Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky,
Yeah.
and that was the same room that Jesse and I that first night got some activity of a woman that started out talking to us up in one of the cells and led us down to that room, and we ended
Mhm.
up finding a letter with her name on it. So,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
so it's at that same room. But again, that room has tons and tons of
So many
artifacts.
things. Yeah.
Wow. And did you find out anything else about the letter?
No, it's actually just an envelope. There wasn't even a letter in it. It just was an envelope addressed to her, is what she told us. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So when when you guys go out on your investigations, what are some of the pieces of equipment that you like to take with? Because I know a lot of people are curious about that.
Well, we have like a array of equipment like what you see on the TV shows, but a lot of times we get more activity with like low tech stuff. You
Mhm.
know, all this equipment costs hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, and it's an investment. So if anybody's thinking about being a ghost hunter, do
It's
your
not cheap.
research, right? Do your research, find out how much the equipment is. Places to ghost hunt are not free. They do charge, and they
Mhm.
can be thousands of dollars as well. So it is a very expensive hobby. So we have some high tech equipment, we have some low tech equipment, but in recent years, we were finding that low tech is so much more active. So
Mhm.
I know for me personally, I love dowsing rods. I think they're really easy for the spirits to use. They're easy to communicate with. You get yes or no answers, and no batteries included. Even though I do have a set of dowsing rods that Jesse bought me that do light up, so they do have
Oh,
some
wow.
batteries in them. So I use both. I use the light up ones, and I use the
Surprise
regular
or whatever.
rods. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We sometimes will do a high tech and a low tech investigation. Like we'll separate, and one of us will take all the low tech stuff. Like we have like the little bells at the front desks and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Just the little stuff that we can do in one room, and then the other room we'll do maybe the spirit box or the K2 and all that stuff, and we'll see
Mhm.
if we can get more activity with one versus the other.
You really have to know the era of the location that you're going into. We
Yeah.
don't like to do a lot of research, at least personally for me, I don't. I am an empath. I like to go in and feel the environment and see what I hit
Mhm.
on, and then go back and do research. But to bring high tech equipment into a 1700s, 1800s building, I mean, they're not going to know what that is.
Mhm.
So we try to bring things that they'll be familiar with as well to use them as trigger objects to invoke a response.
Right, right. I think the most high tech thing that I carry with me now is like maybe a REM pod
Mhm.
and my cameras. Um, one
I've
of the
had a
what
rim bod for years and years and years, and that thing like never goes off. And they're like $350. Like they're not cheap. And that thing has never gone off.
really? Now, when I was in living in the house in Hermitage, right down from the Hermitage, when I would do stuff there at that house, the REM pod would go off quite a bit. I've not had it go off at any of the locations I've been to recently, though. Um, you want to know one of the things, though, that I have found that's very interesting to use, and I got lots of results there at the jail from it, is a lightning detector.
Yeah, you were using it when we were there.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
would make sense because it's energy. It's
mhm,
tracking energy.
mhm. I had a lot of response from that, more so in the kitchen than anywhere else, oddly enough. Um, but yeah, that was definitely a good investment. The other thing that I like to use is motion sensors.
Yeah.
I have a pair that they're magnetic that I put on the bottoms of the steps there at the jail to see if I would get anything off them. I didn't, but there's that, and there's a couple that I got that I set on bookshelves or whatever to see if something sets it off whenever it passes by. And I think they're like maybe $12 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, I got 2 motion sensors at Home Depot that were like $10 for the
Mhm.
pack. So there is some equipment. You kind of have to really think outside the box when looking for ghost hunting equipment, because that's how the cat balls came about. I
Yeah.
mean, now
I was
everybody
gonna
Yeah.
has them, but that was the thing that was thinking someone thought outside the box and was brought them into to use them on an investigation. So
Yeah.
my whole philosophy is just try anything.
Yeah.
Try, if you think it might work, try it. It's not going to hurt. You don't know what they're attracted to.
Yeah. A lot of times we'll do music too of the
Oh, yeah.
period. That's a really good, just entertain them to get them involved.
Yeah, because music invokes memories.
Definitely. Definitely. What are some of the things that obviously you try to collect some data when you're at these things? What is the goal there with the data that you collect?
I think for us, it's just to prove that the location is haunted. My whole feeling on, and it has always been on being a paranormal investigator, is these were once people. They're 99.999% of the time human spirits. I've been doing this for 14 years, have never once come across a demon. Have come across a lot of negative energy, but again, if you're negative in life, then you're going to be negative in death. So the goal for me is to tell the story. If they have something to say, if they have something to pass on, if they want us to know how they really passed away, it's their opportunity to tell the story. It's not about, oh, I captured a ghost on camera. Oh, that's great, okay, but these were people. They had lives, they had families, they have something to tell us and a story to tell. So let's listen.
Right. That's one of the things that I think it's very important for people to understand, is that there's a quote that I've used a couple of times on quote cards that says, "Ghosts were somebody's somebody at one time."
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we have a habit of wanting to demonize everything, which, let's face it. I mean, we are Westerners are used to the Judeo-Christian theology, and so that's kind of how we roll a lot of times with everything, and I understand that there's a lot of interpretation or whatever that goes along with it. So when you're out and about and you're doing that, do you ever get the opportunity to do private residence? Has anybody requested you to do a private residence?
Requested, yes.
Yes, requested. We get
Lots of
requests
requests, but
very, very often. We as a team have chosen not to do private home investigation or residential investigations. And there's two reasons for that. One is because we can't go in making promises that we can remove, something that we don't know if it's there or not there. There could be a lot of factors that come into play, but not that we don't want to help people, because that's not
right.
it's not the goal that we're trying to achieve, is to not help people. Of course, we want to help somebody. And if someone requests that, then we'll refer them to another team.
Right.
But most importantly is we're an all-female team, and I don't feel comfortable sending myself or any team member or all three of us into a location that's going to put any of us in jeopardy. So we have just chosen as a team not to do them.
Plus, and one more reason is we tell people all the time that, yeah, going into your home and investigating, if you want to know something is there, is one thing, but the more you acknowledge, if you're scared, the more activity may happen. So we don't want to make it worse if it's something that's happening there.
Right. That's one of the things that you have to be very careful about, I find, is whatever we're doing sometimes can call to us things. And I think a lot of people, whenever they first start out, they have these big expectations, and they've got all this excitement around, oh, I'm going to go find this, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that. And they don't realize that building up that energy, is not necessarily a bad thing. You want to have some enthusiasm,
right.
but you're building up energy,
right?
To take into this place with you. And I think, what is your thoughts on that? Do you feel the intention that you take in plays a part in your investigation?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, of
For
course.
Sure.
Of course. And that's why I think when you go in, because we do a lot of para-unity, we work with a lot of teams just because we're so small, and everybody in this community kind of knows everybody locally. So we do work with a lot of the local teams here. And if someone comes in with a negative energy, then a lot of times we don't get anything.
Right.
So it is. Yeah, it's 100%.
I sometimes have to watch myself too, because being the more of the skeptic, if I go in, sometimes if I'm coming into negative of any kind, I want to try and stay open-minded as much as possible to encourage more activity, because I always liken it to being like at a party. If you look standoffish, even though there's people in the room with you, they're not going to come talk to you because you're being miserable, kind of, So I always try to keep that in mind when I go in.
Right. Do you find it kind of, like, I know my own personal experience, sometimes I literally have to remind myself, if you go in with the mindset that you're not going to find anything, you're going to get exactly what you're asking for.
Right.
And so it's really, really important to try to, like you said, just be open to it.
Right.
So I know we've talked about this already with the idea of negative energy and so forth. Have you come across times when you kind of, unbeknownst to yourself, kind of antagonized a spirit to kind of act out at you, and then you realize, oops?
Well, we try not to antagonize, but we have had to get forceful before. Like if we felt someone, something bad was happening, we would get forceful and say, you need to stop that now, kind of thing. But tell them about the story at Antoinette Hall, the guy that was antagonistic on the stage.
Oh gosh.
We've had a couple experiences at Antoinette Hall. And by the way, we're hosting a ghost hunt at Antoinette Hall next Saturday, October 11th. It's in, just plug it in there. It's in Pulaski, Tennessee. And if you go out to our Facebook page, we have the link up there. But we've had, there's a not so, I'm not going to call him negative, but there's a not so happy spirit there. And if you antagonize him, he's definitely going to come for you. And
Especially guys.
We were hosting an event one time, and this guy was with his wife, and he really didn't believe in it. She wanted to go on a ghost hunt, and he went in and kind of antagonized, and it ended up scratching him, pushing him. And him and his wife left pretty swiftly, and messaged me about an hour or two later and says, something happened, I believe, and we are never going back. So, but in that same location, we have a mutual friend that went in and antagonized and was made physically sick. We've had that happen a lot of times, to where they go out of the building and they're vomiting. And he antagonized one time so badly that, and I don't know if this contributed to it, but 2 days later he had a heart attack. I went in one time just
He's fine, by the way.
Yeah, he is fine.
He's fine.
I went in one time asking a lot of questions because we were trying to figure out who this spirit was, and I guess he didn't like it, and he started to make me feel ill. So yeah, I mean, what you bring in there and what you do does affect them on the other side, if they're an intelligent spirit.
Yeah.
Now, with Antoinette Hall, that particular building, I find the most interesting part of it the basement.
That's what we find is the most haunted. It does sit on the Trail of Tears. And if anybody is familiar with Pulaski, Tennessee, it is the home of the KKK. It's where it originated. So there are a lot of factors that this particular building sits upon. And in the basement, half of it is concrete floor and the other half is dirt floor. So we're exposing the dirt from the original Trail of Tears.
Yeah. It's definitely, there's some stuff going on in the basement for sure.
We've been told that there's a vortex down there by several different mediums.
It feels very much that way. There's an energy source there that is not normal.
Right.
I will say that much.
Right. It's not my favorite. I try not to go down there.
He basically doesn't go down there.
We usually send our other team member Cassie down there because she
loves it
down there. I'm like, you can have it, because I do not like it at all. I'll go down, and of course, being over that location for 7 years, I mean, I've been down there lots and lots of times, but it always there's just something off about the whole thing.
Right. And then I noticed, like, in that one area over behind the stage where there's just almost nothing, I kept feeling some quirkiness or something going on near the dressing room areas back toward that way. I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, there's been an Indian girl that has been spotted on the stairs that go down to the basement and in where the dressing rooms are, that area.
No doubt. Yeah, because like I said, I just kept getting kind of pulled in that direction. I'm like, what is this mess? Because it was just like nothing. There was just almost like a cone of silence in that back area, and then all of a sudden that, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, it's an interesting building because, the Opera House, it was built in the mid 1800s, sits on a second floor. And now the bottom floor is an actual working theater. So it's a theater on top of a theater. It's so very, very unusual.
It's so beautiful upstairs.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
Yeah, I did. Do you know if they ever got the owl out of there?
There always is like pigeons or something in there.
Yeah.
The last time we were there were pigeons in there. So it's just because they have like broken windows and stuff upstairs. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously the hall is a very active place, a very interesting place. What are some other areas in the vicinity that seem to be active?
we've been to a lot. I mean, of course, we've been to like Old South Pittsburgh. We've been to Hales Bar and Dam. We've um, been to Two Rivers Mansion in Nashville, which that's not been investigated that many times. So if you're looking for some place that's kind of new, they do allow them. Of course, we've been to a lot of cemeteries here locally. We've been to Ripa Villa. Where else? Jesse, help me out.
Oxcon Hall. Well, that's Kentucky, but still, it's not that far.
Yeah, Octagon Hall, Old Jail. The problem is that there's a lot of haunted locations here in Middle Tennessee, especially that are surround like the old plantation homes. But a lot of them don't want to be known as being haunted, so they don't allow the ghost hunts to happen. Now they'll tell you they're haunted if you ask.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we hear things all the time, but they don't want, oh, it might ruin our wedding business or it might ruin this or that. And it's like, why don't you guys make money when your business is closed? There's people willing to pay to come in here. Like
we don't need any electricity. We don't
need
a bathroom, really.
Right.
Right. That's the thing. It's like there's some missed opportunities. And I get it. Like I know there's a one place in downtown Franklin that they'll do the historical tour and they'll talk about the history of it, because there's literally the Battle of Franklin was fought literally around this building.
Yep.
But the owner of that place is adamant that there is no conversation about paranormal activity.
Yeah.
Can I just put it out there, because I know we go through this all the time. It's like, if you have a haunted location, do you realize how much money you can make by allowing paranormal investigators to come in? There is lots and lots of money to be made. So if anybody has a haunted location, just think about it. Try it out for 6 months. See how much money you make.
Call one of us.
Right. I mean, it's a big business. Like, and people are always looking for new locations because everything around here has been so saturated. Everybody's investigated everything around here, and either you have to spend the money to travel to different states. I mean, Jesse and I have flown to locations and brought our equipment and spent the money, rented a car, hotels, all that stuff. Like, a couple of years ago, we went out to Nevada and did the Washoe Club. I mean, it's an expensive hobby, but there's lots of money to be made if you have a haunted location.
Yeah. Eventually, we want to go to Europe. So people are willing to travel and, pay, and it's a moneymaker.
Right. Which, that brings me to that moment where we're halfway through the hour, and I usually like to prompt people about this time. If you've made it this far, leave us a comment. Do you know of a place that might be an investigatable place? Or do you have a place that you might be interested in having people investigate? If so, leave a comment, let us know about it. And there's a lot of us that would really appreciate that, to be honest with you.
There is. And, a team like us that has been around for, 14 years, I mean, we've hosted lots of investigations to bring in the public. Like I said, we tag team with other investigators to get some of these bigger locations. So, if you guys have locations that you know of, that would be great if you could drop a comment and Daniel can look into it. We're all for new places.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's definitely one of those things where we don't. I have to agree with you. I don't feel very comfortable myself doing private investigation, because a lot of times, they may want you to cross somebody over or whatever. And while I have the resources to go to somebody and say, hey, I found a family that needs help or whatever, because I mean, the Warren Legacy Foundation is a great resource in that sense, to go to and be able to, they'll gladly help. But that is a responsibility that I'm not so sure that I feel comfortable with. Now we have other people, that, I've talked to Tanya Ellis and a few others that have a lot of experience and enjoy crossing over, as and so forth. I just cringe at that thought myself personally.
Well, because the truth is, we don't know whether they've really crossed over or not. I mean, until we're on that side, all of this is just a hypothesis. I mean, we're just out there guessing. We're trying to gather evidence that there is a spirit realm, and I myself personally know that there is, because there's so many things that I've experienced personally and investigating. But we don't know what they see, hear, feel on that side. So we don't know whether someone says, yeah, we crossed them over. Well, who knows?
Yeah, see, that's my thing with it too, is like, I'm just skeptical enough about it to go, I want to look at these guys and I want to go, how do you know?
Right.
Well, I mean, is it a sense that you get? I mean, what's the clue in that you were successful at doing what you thought you were doing?
Right.
So I think there comes a point where you have to, you have to let that healthy skepticism, guide you a little bit. And yeah. So you guys have been, you said 14 years, maybe longer than that now at this point. So in that time period, what is probably the biggest moment that you've had, like the investigation you had that really is an unforgettable, you just never got over it?
Oh, wow. Well, going back to the Opera House, I mean, we had a pretty monumental moment there, because again, we've been over that location for 7 years, and there was a spirit there that we kept trying to connect with, and he just would not tell us his name. And we tried for years, and he was just so nasty about it. He just didn't want to talk to us, wanted us not to be there. So we just started calling him Mr. Nasty, which he didn't like that either. So one day we were there and setting up for an event, and it was all girls upstairs in the Opera House. And I've been lucky enough to work with a local historian there in Pulaski. So she gave me all the names of the owners that the Opera House has gone through. So I was like, let's just go up there, run a recorder. We'll call out the names, see if we get anything. So we got running through the names, and I finally got to a name that says, Thomas H. May. And we all physically heard with our own ears a male voice. Now, we couldn't figure out what it said, but luckily we had our recorders running, and you hear me say, is your name Thomas H. May? And on the recorder, it says correct answer. And that was really monumental for me, because for so many years we tried and tried and tried to get his name, and finally he said it, and it was like, thank God the light bulb went on. Like, now we know who you are. So then I had the historian do a deep dive on who he was, and he actually ended up being the mayor of Pulaski for a while.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, it just was amazing. And the second story to come out of Antoinette Hall, we kept getting a little girl that was there. 8 to 10 years old. She died in a car wreck. And so I took this information to one of the owners, and she looked at me and was like, how did you know that? And I said, well, this is what spirit keeps giving us. And she said, we had a child actress. Her name was Lily. She was 8 years old and she died in a car accident. I mean, there's no record of the little girl's name that we could have looked up. I don't know when it happened. It was recent. It was, within the past, I would say 10, 12 years. It wasn't anything from the 1800s, but they were shocked that we came up with that. And that, again, is another validation that spirit is giving us information. And that part of ghost hunting is amazing to me.
Right. It was very interesting when you guys were telling us that at the last investigation there at the hall. I literally just I gasped when you said her name, because there's a spirit that a friend of mine and I, this friend lives in West Virginia, and he had this little girl named Lily, of all things, that would hang out with him all the time. Well, she got to the point where she was moving back and forth between the two places, between my house and his house at one point. And I found out quite by accident one day, because I was doing spirit box there at the house there in Hermitage, and her voice is very distinguished. You can pick it out very easily. And I heard her say something, and I was like, Lily, is that you? And she said, yeah. And I was like, oh boy. So when you said that little girl's name was Lily, I was like, oh God, wow. So Jenny asked, obviously the hall is one of your favorite places, but Jenny asked, what are your favorite places you investigated?
Where have you gone? Where have you loved, Jesse?
My favorite place is still Mount Olivet Cemetery. It's, oh my God, it's an amazing cemetery. It's huge. They have huge mausoleums. It's just amazing. And we've gotten several things there. That's one of the places where I felt a little overwhelmed for a minute. Like out of nowhere, it was bright out. The moon was out, so of course it was nighttime. But I'm so used to being in the dark, doing the stuff at night. It doesn't really bother me. And it was all open. Of course, we're in the cemetery, and just out of nowhere, it seemed to get really dark, and I felt this overwhelming dread. And I was there with the other girls, and it was very quick. It was like less than a minute, and then all of a sudden it felt lighter and it went away. And I'm like, okay, that was so weird. Like, okay, all right. So that was an interesting moment. And then of course we've heard children laughing. I mean, it's a huge cemetery. We're not near people. You can hear traffic and stuff way in the distance. You can hear the planes and stuff go overhead, but there's no people. So to hear children pretty close by was very weird. But that one's probably my favorite.
St. Albans was another really good investigation.
St. Albans was interesting.
Yeah, it used to be a boys' home, and then it was a mental hospital there for a while. But yeah, we had some crazy things happen that night. That
yeah,
living
some of it
and
was
dead.
human.
It was so brutally cold. Like we went in February, and it's in Virginia. And of course, because it's cheaper, we're like, yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna be
right.
Okay. It was so brutally cold.
And I love the cold, and I was dying.
Right.
I need hand warmers, and that never happens with me.
We had tell them about the bathroom situation that with you and Chris.
Well, there's two situations. Okay, one, we were in a really dark kind of huge place. It's kind of open to the elements in certain parts of it. It's huge. And one of our team members was behind the two of us, and all you just hear her scream, and she bullied, like, just went right past us so quickly because she saw bats.
Yeah.
So we almost fell over. She like bulldozed us to get out of there. But another situation, one of our other teammates was in one of the bathrooms upstairs. Everybody else was outside the room, but she and I were in there.
Not a working bathroom.
No. So we had the door open, and we were kind of, she was sitting on the toilet. It was closed, obviously. And I was kind of by the sink.
It was a suicide bathroom. Like 4 or 5 people had committed suicide in that bathroom.
Right. So of course we got in our brains that we were going to do a little session there. We had our recorder and everything, and we were asking questions, and she was sitting on the toilet, and all of a sudden she screamed, and she got up, and she face planted me into the wall, dove over the sink to get away, left me in the dust, but whatever. When I ran out of there, she's like, something came from the upstairs, from under the toilet to get me. I'm like, what? She's like, it moved. So yeah, that was.
Also happened when we were doing a tour through there, a snake fall out of the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So I don't fear ghosts. I fear my teammates, and I fear like spiders and things and snakes.
And then that night too, there was some like people trying to break into the building.
Oh god.
We were in there. So it was just.
But there was also a lot of activity throughout. So we want to go back there for sure. Yeah, that's one of the ones we want to do again.
Wow, I don't know about the whole having people breaking in on me thing. That would be a little disturbing.
Well, there was a security team that was there, so they caught him on camera. But it was actually snowing outside, and they were trying to break in.
It was the bowling alley down there was also kind of lively. Yeah, I got caught a video of kind of an orb dancing. Down there.
Caught a creepy laugh in that area as well.
Yeah,
that one's on our website. There's EVPs on our website if anybody wants to check them out. There's one of somebody creepy like clown laughing and says you want to replay.
Yeah, that's the one place they said that they won't let women go alone, so the security guard had to go with us down there. So of course we made him go everywhere with us because we didn't want to get lost. It's huge.
Like a maze.
Wow. Now, you guys are not that far away from the Huntsville, Alabama area. Have you investigated any of the places there?
I have been to Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham. I've never done anything in Huntsville.
Wow.
We're willing to go if anybody has suggestions.
Right.
Pop it in the comments.
Right. You know, I do know, like, there's the I'm not sure what the location of it is there, but I know I've heard people talk about the children's playground, the dead children's playground.
Yes.
Maple Hill Cemetery would definitely be a good place to check out.
Yeah, we just haven't spent a lot of time in Alabama at all. We usually go north or we fly somewhere. So
yeah, I have not really spent a lot of time in Alabama yet. I say that it's part of my work district too, so I go down there sometimes for work. But I know there's some areas through there though that people have suggested checking out that I'm curious about. Maple Hill, I would love to go and spend a day there sometime, just like scoping it out and see what it's like.
Right.
When you guys get to the point where you are in an investigation and you're getting a lot of activity and a lot of good things going on, like, are you with the recordings and so forth, are you cataloging this? What are you doing as far as like the documentation, the evidence that you actually get? How do you go about, I guess, cataloging it and keeping it archived or whatever?
A lot of it is up on our website, which obviously keeps a copy, and then we have programs that we can run digital recorders through and video camera footage through. So I mean, it's all kept on computers per se. So we do like to share evidence, so that's why a lot of it is up on our website. But yeah, I mean, if we get something really good, of course we put it on our social media too.
Mm.
We like to share it and let people see what they think.
What is a piece of advice that you would want to pass along to somebody who was just starting out? Maybe they were just so curious about starting to investigate, but they really don't know where to go, where to start at.
Go ahead, Jess.
I think they could really try a public investigation is the best way to see if you like it, to see what everybody else is doing. But as far as equipment goes, we always tell people start with a recorder. I mean, that's your best friend really in all of this.
Yeah, don't run out and buy a whole bunch of equipment and just go on an investigation. Search out local teams in your area and see if they'll let you just tag along. You may have to pay an entrance fee to get into wherever they're investigating, but just tag along. We, on our public investigations, we let people use our equipment. But I just want to let people know that it's not like what you see on TV. We can sit in the dark for hours and hours and hours and get absolutely nothing. And then it'll pop off for 5-10 minutes, and that's all we'll get. Sometimes we get nothing. I mean, we pay hundreds of dollars to get into locations and get absolutely nothing. It's like fishing. You have to sit and wait. So yeah, definitely don't be gung-ho and run out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. Go out and try it first, see if you like it, and if you're prone to being bored sitting in the dark, then it's probably not the hobby for you.
Right. I think one of the first investigations I went on, I think other than cat balls, I had a pendulum and and a recorder and a notebook. And that's what I carried with me. And people looked at me like I was absolutely insane because that was all I had with me. And I'm like, so now I know, because Ryan asked, has anybody investigated any of the old Native American burial mounds or burials? So I know that one of the places that has mounds and it's public property is around the Natchez Trace Parkway area. Have you ever gone to any of those?
No, I mean, I've been out to Natchez Trace, but I haven't investigated out there at all. And, it is part of the Trail of Tears too. It does cross some of it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it could definitely be an interesting adventure. And now that that's kind of on my mind, maybe that's another place that I'll check out. Who knows?
I kind of want to see like the tribes, the Native Americans that were maybe passed through that section to see what maybe music or something would be conducive to what they used to have, because that would be my only caveat to that is, are they going to understand us? We don't speak the same language, so I bring something that they were used to, like usually music, and if I can find it, you'd have to know kind of what Native American tribes they were. If they're Creek or Cherokee, they're all going to be different.
Right. Yeah, that would be like having to do a little bit of research probably for that. Definitely. Do you guys do the set up booths and so forth at any of the conferences or festivals or anything?
We have in the past. We haven't done them in a couple of years, but Jesse and I have hit the road and been on a few, and they're always really interesting and
they're very fun. And we love meeting new people and hearing stories, and it's really fun, but we haven't done it in a couple of years now. We try to hit conventions though as visitors.
Yeah, I really need to find a list of the local ones. I know there's one that I've been told about that I really am kind of curious about. Apparently, Chickamauga has the Green Eye Festival now.
Never heard of that.
Oh.
Yeah,
We hosted for 2 years. We hosted a Paracon, one in what's the fairgrounds?
First the fairgrounds in oh god,
Lebanon,
yes,
and then we did the
then
national
Nashville.
fairgrounds. So
Hmm.
we've hosted them, we've attended them as vendors, and we've obviously attended them as guests too.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Actually, Sin Schrader Hill is the one that told me about the not just or the one there at Chickamauga,
Mm.
and apparently it's fairly new.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I haven't heard of it. But
Yeah.
there's so many. I mean, there's so many festivals and expos and conventions, and
Yeah.
especially this time of year, there's tons of them. So
Yeah, I know McMimble just had their Wild Man convention recently.
Mm.
and again, if anybody's interested in attending conventions, they're not free. You know,
Yeah.
all the vendors have to pay fees to get in there. So
Yeah.
even if it's free to the public, it's not free to the vendors. So again, that's just something to keep in mind if you have a team that you're trying to promote, or you want to get your name out there and you want to attend some of these expos and conventions. There is a cost that comes with it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I will suggest with that, though, is if you find one that is your favorite, set aside money every year to get their highest tier tickets. Because here's the thing, a lot of those conventions and so forth, they don't really make money out of it. They may break even at best. So having people that will sponsor through sponsorships and getting the VIP tickets and so forth for your favorite ones is a very good way of supporting those that you really love.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, definitely something to consider. Yeah, there is there's just not that much free stuff in the world anymore, unfortunately. And this can be a very expensive hobby. So
Very much.
as we start to round out the hour, what's something that you have learned along the way that is very valuable for you?
I'll let Regina answer that.
Good. I was waiting for Jesse because I always feel like I butt over her. So
I would honestly, I would say connecting with other teams. It's a very small group that we have, you know, even nationally, internationally. We tend to make very good connections, long lasting connections. So if you have formed a new team, just start reaching out to others in the area, and you can go on hunts together, and it's really good to make those connections.
I think one thing that I've learned over the years is to definitely be more open-minded, not only to the people in the paranormal community and the general public, but just on the spiritual side too. Because again, these were all people; they were all humans, you know, and they have a story to tell. And if you're open and willing to listen, put your feelings aside, put your opinions aside, and be open to listen. Sometimes you get some amazing results. So it's been a wild ride.
Definitely. And with that, one of the things that I guess I really want to ask too is how do you go about joining a group if you're not in a group? How do you go about finding one to join?
You can search for local paranormal teams in your area or the towns or surrounding towns. Ask questions, attend some of these conventions, meet people. There's a lot of small teams out there that are willing to take on investigators. Like I said, we have over the years added in subtracted people that, have come and gone or decided they didn't want to do it anymore. And
Or move.
yeah, but I mean, we get asked quite often if people can join our team, and we're always like, you can join us on an investigation, but to join the team is really a commitment. It's being loyal to your team, because there is so much competition out there. Everybody's trying to have that video to get famous, or have that TikTok video that goes viral, and that's really not what it's all about. The core basis of investigating is finding the evidence, telling the story. So just do a little research, ask questions, see if you can tag along, and see if you like it.
And you don't have to join an existing team. You can create your own team. I mean, you don't have to take a test to be an investigator. So there's no license involved. But I would say recommend trying some public events first. Make sure you're into it. It's something you want to do. And then you can ask other people how they got started, and try their equipment, and then you can make your own team.
And you'd be surprised, just talking about spirits in general. Just because someone doesn't believe, they usually have stories to tell. If a parent passed away and they had this happen or whatever, and you never know who knows who. So just start talking, just start being open about it. And you're like, hey, do you believe in ghosts? Start the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely so. Definitely so. I appreciate everything that you guys shared with us tonight, because it's really important for us to understand. I think a lot of people, when it comes to ghost hunters, and I almost hate that term anymore, because it's everybody kind of lumps us all into Zach Bagan, and
I'll talk about my boyfriend like that.
Oh my
don't
goodness.
mention that.
He doesn't know he's my boyfriend, but he is.
I just find it funny saying hunter, like we're hunting spirit, like we're gonna hunt them and mount them on walls, like we're investigating. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's with all the weird and sometimes bad publicity. Like, I don't know how many times this year I've been asked about Annabelle. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that's an area where, honestly, whenever somebody comes at me like that and asks me about Annabelle, I just look at him and go, look, I am friends with a member of the Warren family. I don't want to discuss this because it treads into my personal opinion and my personal thoughts on it based on what I know from the inside. And so, and it's the same thing with the whole thing about, what we do, investigating and so forth, is like, if you think that we're all like sensationalizing and so forth like that, and like we go out looking for scares and so forth, then you've got the wrong idea, you've got the wrong impression.
Right.
And I encourage people, go find a public investigation and just go see what those are really like, and you'll get a little bit of a taste of what it's like doing an actual an investigation. In the sense of, because public investigation can be a little bit chaotic sometimes, depending. The last time that I was there at the hall, I was just kind of like, a lot of different challenges involved with that. But again, I think it's very important for us, as investigators, as people who are interested, even if you're just one of those people that are staying on the fringes and you're not really sure yet whether you want to investigate or not. I think it's very important that that we seek what our standards are going to be. We find our moral compass in all of this, because again, like Regina, like you've said, these are basically were us at one time, and one day we're going to be them, most likely. And so it's really important for us to understand that there is a middle ground to come to with all of this.
Right. And people should know that they're not crazy for having experiences or feeling things or sensing things or hearing things, because
Right.
we're all a little bit crazy doing this type of a hobby. So you're not alone. And go out there and just seek out some people who have the same common interests as you do.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And I really appreciate that you shared that too. Are there any other final thoughts that you would like to share with us before we close out tonight?
I would just like to say, if I would appreciate you allowing us to be on your show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Follow us on any of our social media. I saw it popping up there as we were on there, but we're, at all of our social media is under PPF Investigations, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We have a website. You can, Google search it.
Evidence.
Too. Yeah. So there's evidence out on the website too. So we appreciate the follow. And again, if you guys are here local in Middle Tennessee, we do have an event at Antoinette Hall on October 11th, which is next Saturday. If you go out to our Facebook page, PPF Investigations, there is a link there for tickets. We still have a few left. So if you're interested, get them now before they're gone.
Yes.
And all three of us will be there.
Yes,
That's
I
right.
will be there that night. They're probably going to be doing some curiosity seeking in the basement again.
Sure.
Can't help myself.
Then Trader's going to be there as well, Daniel. I don't know.
Yes, yes.
He's going to be there.
Definitely so. And their website is amazing. Even on the phone, it looks great. So whoever did that, hats off to you.
Up there. Wait, where you get there?
Wow.
That is free. That is a free
That
website.
picture of the mausoleum too. That's at the Mount Olivet.
That's at Mount Olivet.
I mean, great place. Yeah.
I'll have to.
Thank you again for having us on, Daniel.
Well, thank you for coming on, and I will go on and pull you guys back and wrap it up then.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. So again, one of the things I want to encourage you guys about is to always have an open mind. Keep compassion at the forefront of anything you do when it comes to the paranormal. If you're investigating, if you're going to a convention or another event, don't go in antagonistic, and don't go in, with the sense of, I'm going to prove these guys are creepy or weird or whatever, crazy, because it's a sense of purpose that we do these things. That's the best way I can explain it, is a sense of purpose. So always keep that in mind, and always find your compassion when dealing with these things. And most importantly, if you know somebody who who comes to you and says, I think I saw this or that, don't come at them judgmentally and be like laughing at them and stuff, because you don't know what's going on with them and what they may have experienced. So remember that. And as always, may your journey always be magical.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history. Past lives. have been lovers. We must have been something in our past.